Welcome to War Bios, the podcast where we delve into the lives of history's most fascinating military figures. Today, we're going to explore the extraordinary life of Witold Pilecki, a Polish soldier, resistance fighter, and one of the most courageous men of World War II. Born on May 13, 1901, in Pilecki, a small town in what is now Belarus, Pilecki's early life was marked by a complex mix of privilege, hardship, and nationalist fervor that would shape his future as a warrior and a hero. The early 20th century was a time of great upheaval in Eastern Europe, with the Russian Empire's grip on Poland beginning to loosen. The air was thick with tension as nationalist movements across the continent clamored for independence and self-determination. Pilecki's family, members of the Polish nobility, had lost their estate during the January uprising against Russian rule in 1863. This sense of displacement and longing for independence would have a profound impact on Witold's worldview and future actions. Imagine a young boy growing up amidst the rolling hills and dense forests of rural Poland, surrounded by the whispers of his ancestors' bravery and the struggles of his family's past. Witold's childhood was spent on his family's modest farm in Siekierki, where he developed a deep love for nature, horses, and the outdoors. His parents, Joseph and Maria Pilecki, instilled in him a strong sense of patriotism, Catholic values, and a commitment to social justice. The young Witold was especially drawn to the stories of his ancestors who had fought against Russian oppression, and he began to see himself as part of a long line of Polish resistance fighters. As Pilecki grew older, he became increasingly fascinated with military history and the art of warfare. He spent hours poring over books on tactics, strategy, and leadership, devouring the works of great military thinkers like Karl von Clausewitz and Napoleon Bonaparte. He even formed a makeshift cavalry unit with his friends, where they would practice charging and maneuvering on horseback, their laughter and shouts echoing through the countryside as they honed their skills. This early interest in military affairs would serve him well in his future endeavors, but it was his experiences during World War I that truly shaped his understanding of conflict and his role in it. In 1918, at the age of 17, Pilecki joined the Polish army, which had been reconstituted after Poland gained independence from Russia. He saw action on the Polish-Soviet front, where he distinguished himself as a brave and resourceful young officer. The chaos and destruction of war left an indelible mark on his psyche, but it also taught him valuable lessons about discipline, camaraderie, and the importance of adaptability on the battlefield. As he navigated the complexities of modern warfare, Pilecki began to develop a keen sense of strategic thinking, often questioning the tactics employed by his superiors and seeking out new ways to outmaneuver the enemy. The interwar period was a time of great turmoil in Poland, with the country struggling to establish itself as a stable nation-state. Pilecki, now in his early 20s, became increasingly involved in nationalist politics, joining organizations like the Polish Military Organization and the Union of Patriotic Youth. These groups advocated for a strong, independent Poland, free from foreign influence, and Pilecki's passion for the cause only grew stronger as he navigated the complexities of Polish politics. He attended secret meetings, distributed underground literature, and even participated in clandestine military training, all while maintaining a sense of normalcy in his daily life. His love of nature, his sense of patriotism, and his commitment to social justice all contributed to a strong moral compass, one that would guide him through the darkest days of World War II. The young Witold Pilecki was already demonstrating the characteristics that would define his life: courage, conviction, and an unwavering dedication to his country and its people. The lessons he learned, the values he adopted, and the relationships he forged would all play a crucial role in shaping his response to the challenges that lay ahead. As World War II loomed on the horizon like a specter of doom, Witold Pilecki's life took a dramatic turn, propelling him into the very heart of the conflict. In 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union invaded Poland, their forces sweeping across the nation like a tidal wave of steel and fire. Pilecki, now in his late 30s, with a strong jawline and an unyielding gaze, joined the Polish resistance movement, his sense of duty and patriotism burning brighter than ever before. He co-founded the Secret Polish Army, a clandestine organization dedicated to disrupting German and Soviet operations in occupied Poland, its members bound together by a shared determination to fight for their country's freedom. This marked the beginning of an extraordinary period in Pilecki's life, one that would test his courage, cunning, and conviction like never before. The Nazi occupation had cast a dark shadow over Poland, with its people subjected to brutal suppression, forced labor, and mass executions. Yet, even in the face of such overwhelming oppression, Pilecki remained resolute, his spirit unbroken by the shackles of tyranny. On September 19, 1940, Pilecki intentionally allowed himself to be captured by the Germans during a street roundup in Warsaw, a city once vibrant and full of life, now reduced to a mere shadow of its former self. His plan was to infiltrate Auschwitz concentration camp, gather intelligence on the atrocities being committed there, and organize a resistance movement among the prisoners. This audacious scheme, which would have been deemed suicidal by many, was characteristic of Pilecki's unwavering dedication to his country and its people. He was willing to risk everything, including his own life, to uncover the truth about the Nazi regime's most notorious death camp. Upon arrival at Auschwitz, Pilecki, under the assumed name Tomasa Sereficki, quickly established himself as a leader among the prisoners. The camp, with its barbed wire fences, watchtowers, and crematoria, was a place of unimaginable horror, where the very fabric of humanity seemed to be torn apart. Yet, even in this abyss of despair, Pilecki's presence served as a beacon of hope, inspiring his fellow prisoners to resist their oppressors and fight for their dignity. He formed a network of allies, including Polish army officers, intellectuals, and ordinary citizens, all united in their determination to resist the Nazi occupation. This group, known as the Union of Military Organizations, aimed to gather intelligence, sabotage German operations, and ultimately prepare for an armed uprising. Pilecki's leadership and organizational skills were instrumental in maintaining morale among the prisoners and coordinating their efforts, his strategic mind constantly seeking ways to outmaneuver their captors. One notable example of Pilecki's bravery during this period was his involvement in the creation of a secret radio transmitter at Auschwitz. In 1942, he and a small team of prisoners constructed a makeshift radio, using scavenged parts and cleverly disguising it as a harmless device. This transmitter allowed them to send vital information about German military movements and atrocities committed at the camp to the Polish resistance and Allied forces, their messages a cry for help in the darkness. Pilecki's leadership and organizational skills were instrumental in maintaining morale among the prisoners and coordinating their efforts. He also played a key role in documenting the horrors of Auschwitz, smuggling out reports and testimonies that would later serve as crucial evidence of Nazi war crimes. As one fellow prisoner recalled, Witold Pilecki was the embodiment of hope in a place where hope seemed lost. His courage and determination inspired us all to keep fighting, even in the face of unimaginable adversity. The prisoners looked up to him as a symbol of resistance, their spirits buoyed by his unwavering resolve. Throughout his time at Auschwitz, Pilecki maintained contact with the Polish resistance and received instructions from his superiors. He also formed alliances with other prisoner groups, including Soviet prisoners of war and Jewish inmates, fostering a sense of unity and cooperation among the diverse population of the camp. This was no easy feat, given the deep-seated divisions and prejudices that existed among the prisoners. Yet, Pilecki's charisma and leadership abilities helped to bridge these gaps, creating a sense of common purpose among the prisoners. In April 1943, Pilecki escaped from Auschwitz, using his knowledge of the camp's layout and his network of contacts to evade capture. He made his way back to Warsaw, where he continued to play a key role in the Polish resistance, providing intelligence and strategic guidance to the movement. His experiences at Auschwitz had left an indelible mark on him, but they had also strengthened his resolve to fight for Poland's freedom and to expose the atrocities committed by the Nazi regime. As the war raged on, Pilecki remained at the forefront of the resistance movement, always seeking new ways to disrupt German operations and support the Allied effort. The fate of his nation hung in the balance, and Pilecki was determined to do everything in his power to ensure its survival. As the war drew to a close, Witold Pilecki's contributions to the Polish resistance only intensified, like a mighty river flowing relentlessly towards its destiny. He continued to provide crucial intelligence to the Allies, playing a significant role in the ultimate defeat of Nazi Germany. In May 1945, with the Soviet army closing in on Warsaw, Pilecki was arrested by the communist authorities, who viewed him as a threat to their newly established regime. The irony was palpable. A man who had fought tirelessly against the Nazis was now being persecuted by those who were supposed to be his liberators. Despite his heroic wartime record, he was subjected to a sham trial, during which he was accused of espionage and treason. The courtroom was a farce, a travesty of justice, where the outcome was predetermined and the verdict was a foregone conclusion. But Pilecki refused to betray his comrades or reveal any information about the Polish resistance, even under intense interrogation. His bravery in the face of overwhelming adversity was summed up by one of his fellow prisoners, who recalled that Witold Pilecki remained unbroken, a shining example of courage and patriotism. Even in the darkest depths of captivity, the walls of his prison cell seemed to reverberate with the echoes of his unwavering dedication to his country. As he stood tall, like a colossus, in the face of his tormentors, Pilecki's thoughts must have wandered back to the early days of the war, when he had first joined the resistance. He had been driven by a sense of duty, a desire to protect his family and his nation from the Nazi scourge. His final words, spoken to his executioner, were, "I've led a good life." These simple yet profound words spoke volumes about the man's character, a man who had lived a life of purpose, of meaning, and of sacrifice. On May 25, 1948, Witold Pilecki was executed by firing squad at the Mokotów prison in Warsaw. The sound of the guns still echoes through the corridors of history, a grim reminder of the brutal fate that befell this courageous warrior. Despite the tragic circumstances of his death, Pilecki's legacy as a hero of World War II and a champion of Polish freedom has endured. In the years following his execution, Pilecki's name was all but erased from the official records of Communist Poland. The regime sought to suppress his memory, to deny his contributions to the war effort, and to downplay his significance. But the truth has a way of seeping through the cracks, like water flowing through the stones of an ancient monument. And with the fall of communism in 1989, Pilecki's contributions to the war effort and his ultimate sacrifice were finally recognized. Today, Witold Pilecki is remembered as a national hero in Poland, with numerous monuments, streets, and institutions bearing his name. He embodied the very spirit of resistance against oppression, inspiring countless others to follow in his footsteps. Pilecki's remarkable story has also had a profound impact on the wider world, serving as a powerful reminder of the importance of standing up against injustice and fighting for freedom, no matter the cost. His legacy extends far beyond the borders of Poland, speaking to something fundamental in the human condition, the desire for liberty, for dignity, and for self-determination. He represents a universal ideal of courage, selflessness, and devotion to a higher cause. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.